Good day, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Executive Insights by Shipping and Freight Resource. I'm Harish Manadia, founder of Shipping and Freight Resource. And today I have the pleasure of welcoming Bill Catania, founder and CEO of OneRail, to this segment. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you, Harish. I appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Great. So, OneRail, what was the inspiration behind it, and was there any influence from your previous companies that influenced your vision for OneRail?
Well, ironically, there was, even though I hadn't spent a day of my life in supply chain or logistics before this, there was a very significant inspiration from my previous company. OneRail started with a really poor customer experience. I was at a major retailer trying to buy a refrigerator. They told me it would take 10 days to get it when I already paid for it and it was right in front of me. They just hadn't yet operationalized fulfill from store. And that was very disappointing to me. So I started searching for, Uber for delivery, Uber for moving, anything I could find somebody with a truck to come get this refrigerator. Thankfully, I had my own truck, so I couldn't find anybody, and I went and delivered it myself. But that's what the inspiration was for really starting down this journey. The first iteration was really a tech-connected courier, tech-connected moving and delivery company where we recruited drivers. It was consumer facing, it was B2B, but it was after a couple, 2 years of doing that, we decided to pivot and become something completely different. And my previous company was called MDOT. And what we did is we built the first ever point of sale to cloud transaction system for processing digital, paperless grocery coupons and all types of coupons at the point of sale. And that business was transformational, not just because of the tech, but because of our go-to-market approach. And what we found in that market was there was all these disparate silos of coupon providers that were trying to work with retailers like Kroger and Wegmans and Publix. And they all had their own disparate integrations. There was no real central processing system or operating system to process those, like a Visa MasterCard switch. Think about like a payment processing engine. So what we did was novel. We took what was an on-prem solution with servers in a store, put it in the cloud, took all the transaction data out of the store, decisioned on it, hosted virtual wallets. The big thing we also did was we aggregated all these coupon providers into one big body of coupons, and we injected them into the retailer website. So if you think about it, we consolidated supply, we built an operating system that was a rules-driven platform, and we connected it to demand, which is the consumer redeeming at the point of sale. And we did that in 200 milliseconds, lightning fast, just like a payment. So through that journey, I learned about the word rail, payment rails, and the concept of taking data in and out via the payment rail. We created a new rail for coupon processing. Fast forward to this epiphany I'm having that, as a tech connected courier, there's a lot of problems. We never have all the right capacity in the right place at the right time. Customers, big retailers didn't have visibility to the deliveries because there's all these disparate courier integrations, all the same problems I saw with coupon that held back scale. So we made a pivot. First of all, we changed the name to OneRail, one pane of glass, one single source of truth. Rail, because we thought that last mile delivery should function like payments, instant, data driven, governance, data privacy and security, et cetera.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how we got to the word OneRail. And what have we really done in building OneRail? Aggregated supply, connected it to demand with a rules-driven operating system that we offer to our customers that are retailers and wholesalers and healthcare distributors. And we process just like a payment, many transactions in sub-second timing, all rules-driven, just like a payment. So that's how we got here. Not very obvious path.
Yeah, that sounds like there was a lot of work involved in that, and I'm also glad you opened with tech as well, because that leads to my next question, which is like OneRail is leveraging a lot of real-time visibility and data-driven optimization methods. So, how do these differentiate you from other last mile delivery solutions?
Yeah, so I think the first thing to understand is, what is a last mile delivery solution? I think there's companies that are in the orchestration business, like Bring and FarEye and Delivery Solutions, which was acquired by UPS. That's software processing to orchestrate deliveries. Then there's couriers that are tech connected, like DoorDash and Uber and companies like GoShare and Roadie, Dolly, right? That's what we used to be. We used to be a tech connected courier. So there's those two different kinds of solutions. Then there's retailers and distributors like Advance Auto Parts, who's one of our customers. They have 13,000 delivery vehicles, 25,000 associates that do deliveries. So there's different flavors, right, of last mile. And I could keep going. I could talk about marketplaces like Gitter, and DoorDash is an overlap there too. They're a marketplace. But let's just focus on the tech side and the tech connected courier side, because that's usually where retailers and customers have to decide. They have to decide, am I going to have a delivery system of record or not? Am I going to try to leverage my TMS? Am I going to use Excel and Google Sheets? Am I going to use email? And we still see that. Or am I gonna also not use any type of solution and just go direct with a courier or a few couriers? And that's usually a good proof of concept for them. What makes us exceptionally different is OneRail is very far up in the order stream. And you may have saw we just recently acquired a company called OrderBot. It's an OMS inventory system, PIM system. So OneRail literally begins at order data and ends with the doorstep. But even if you took that OrderBot capability away, OneRail is exceptionally different, because what we do is we give our customers a hybrid. They get a complete operating system that's very sophisticated to manage all their deliveries, multimodally, by the way. They can manage parcel, courier, LTL, everything in one mix, internal fleet, driver tracking. But then we layer our network on top of it of 12 million drivers. So we not only have the operating system, we bring one single rate card to the table for our customers, and they get access to these 12 million drivers that, by the way, have a full support team of 50 people sitting over that to manage exceptions when they happen. So they get platform, which gives them way more than visibility. It's visibility, it's execution, it's the ability to track inventory while it's moving. It gives them a multimodal network instantly that's already built, serving our customers, doing 260,000 deliveries a day. And it also gives them the support layer of humans to oversee that process. So that makes us very different.
Very impressive indeed. And talking
Thank you.
about partnerships and collaborations, so I can see that it's part of OneRail's strategy. So are there can you highlight some of the key partnerships and acquisitions that have significantly impacted your organization? I mean, you mentioned about Autobot. How has that enhanced your services?
Yeah, in my opinion, the industry kind of went through a phase of, can we make last mile fulfillment work from store and warehouse? It's been working from a warehouse in the DC via parcel for years, but how do we do it from the store? How do we unlock a store, essentially making that store a warehouse? And OneRail has done an exceptional job optimizing transportation and bringing capacity, but we still found a lot of gaps. And the gaps that we found specifically are around inventory, making sure the right inventory is in the right place at the right time, or better yet, being able to dynamically bring transportation to the right location to fulfill from so that inventory is in full. And a simple example of that is kind of the legacy OMSs that are out there. Big ones, right? Systems of record, like a Sterling OMS. They're very static in their decisioning. So if I'm a shopper and I'm shopping online, I only see inventory that's closest to me, the home store it's called. So the store that's closest to me, if all the items that I'm trying to buy are not in stock, it tells me, we have customers that have a use case of just canceling the order. Some of them say, hey, you can have a split order, so you can get some of the items from the store, and by UPS, you can get something in 2 days. Or they just divert the customer to go pick it up at another store. But none of those are really what the customer wants. The customer wants everything today or tomorrow. So what OneRail is doing with OrderBot is, if we're talking about a city like Baltimore, there may be 10 retail locations around the city. And what we're doing is decoupling the location of the store from the consumer. We're asking that order management system to send us all the stores that have inventory in full, and then we're optimizing which store to pick from at the lowest cost to prevent the split order, to prevent the cancel, to prevent the customer from having to go pick up one item from a store 20 miles away. And the shipper looks at that and says, if I'm a retailer, I'm willing to pay an extra $5, $10 for that delivery to happen 7 miles further, because now I don't have to execute an entirely separate shipment. The customer's happier because they're getting what they want when they want it. I'm not seeing cart abandonment. So that's really the North Star for this acquisition. It's to go up the order stream and become a very active participant through optimizing that store pick location.
That's some clever optimization there. And so in terms of the you started with talking about you as a customer, and the experience that you went through. So what are some of the strategies that have been most effective in OneRail achieving your goal to enhance customer service?
Well, I think it's the unification of visibility and giving our customer, who's the retailer, the ability to offer a completely flexible shipping solution to their customers. One thing that's completely aligned. Every single one of our customers, whether they're a tire distributor like American Tire Distributors, a retailer like Lowe's Home Improvement, an industrial supply company like Ferguson, all three are customers. They all have one thing in common. We're serving their customers on their behalf. We're giving them technology to enable a great customer experience. So that's really the common thread. So for us, we really work hard to essentially put an Amazon in a box capability set together, a tool set, so that they can fulfill in a very, very flexible and fluid way. And they can design their own customer experience. They can offer 30-minute delivery. Advanced Auto Parts is doing tens of thousands of 30-minute deliveries every day with our platform. They can offer the ability to rate shop parcel versus courier to provide the lowest cost to their customer. And then being able to extend that visibility now to the shelf with the OrderBot acquisition is something that we're really excited about. So it really comes back to being customer centric, our customer centric to our customer, and helping them serve their customer.
Nice, nice. And since you mentioned about costs, as per stats, the last mile cost is believed to be about 52%, 52%, somewhere there. How has OneRail been able to assist customers in reducing this cost? I mean, with your tech and your customer experience, how has that been achieved?
Well, think of it as a really linear journey, right? The first thing that we find with our customers is unstructured data. They have couriers that are integrated, some are not integrated, they're all in different rate cards. There's disparate silos of data everywhere. The first thing we do through our integration with them is we provide one pipe for the data. Once we do that, we can normalize data. A good example of that is we have integrations with over 1,000 couriers, but our customers rely on our normalized view of that data to execute delivery. So first thing is structured data, then normalize that data. Once we've done that, we can execute on the data. They can implement an AI strategy, a data science strategy around delivery. We do it all day. That's what we do. But that's a critical component to making this all work, is to start that transformation journey with structured data, normalized data, then you can execute data and execute a variety of use cases. So that's really where it all begins. Now, what does that mean? At the end of the day, you can automate. Once you've done the structuring, the normalizing, you execute, you can automate. And a good example of that is, we'll go into a retail location and do time study for a couple of days. How long does it take you to look at this screen and then enter a delivery in a manual interface on this screen with maybe Roadie or DoorDash? That absolutely is broken. We've seen customers spend 16 minutes an order. So the first thing we're doing is reducing OpEx by up to 70%. So we reduce OpEx by automating, rules-driven automation. The next thing we're doing is we're reducing transportation costs because of our rate shopping capabilities, our ability to provide the lowest cost and the highest quality. We're giving our shippers, our customers, the ability to see other kind of think of it as sales expansion. We had a customer that came in, they were relying on one gig economy courier that would only deliver under 10 miles and under 50 pounds. But this was a pet supply company. They had cat trees and dog houses and all these big things, right? And they wanted to go to 20 miles. So by working with OneRail, we gave them the ability to sell their entire product catalog, not just 30 to 40% of it, because they had a lot of really heavy dog food, and a lot of their orders were in the 10 to 20 mile band. So those are just a few examples. Automation, reduces OpEx up to 70% we see. Typically a 10 to 15% transportation cost savings. We see net promoter score increases. So there's a lot that we do to measure that and reinforce the value of the platform.
So you're using data in a very practical and functional way to reduce costs for customers. And talking about data, how do you then ensure the privacy and security of customer data? Because that's very top of mind for many people these days.
Yeah, so OneRail from a very early, before we even launched our first enterprise client, SOC 2 compliant, GDPR, ISO. Now we're working on finishing up our HIPAA. We've invested heavily in data privacy and security. We're very careful about how we share data. We're very careful about really having an understanding with our customers that it's their data. Some tech companies, I think, try to disintermediate their customers from their data. We don't do that. And that's why I was successful with my last company. We took shopper data out of the store and into the cloud. We were the first company to do that at super high volume, which is why we won the Amazon Global Startup Challenge. That was a very sensitive topic. That, again, prepared me to do this. This data is not nearly as sensitive as taking complete shopping baskets and decisioning on them in the cloud. So that's something we pride ourselves in. It's competitive advantage for us. We built a data security team way before companies our size.
Absolutely. Okay. And now to end this with a classic interview question, the next 5 years, where do you see OneRail, and is OneRail ready to adapt to these changes?
Yeah, so I think you're going to see more and more, call it impact from omni-channel transformation. There's a lot of companies are far down that path, and some haven't even started. I think what you'll see in the next 5 years, and that's why, again, focusing on this acquisition, our goal is to be an omni-channel enabler. So for OneRail, there's a couple missing pieces that we want to fill the blanks on. Returns, we do it, but we're looking to add more capabilities around returns. And for us, building a micro fulfillment network of nodes, if you add those two things along with what we already have, you really truly do have a complete Amazon in a box. And looking at middle mile capabilities, overnight middle mile is something we're excited about, just to accelerate, what right now could be a 3 to 5 day shipping into a 1 to 2 day shipping. So more of the same, honestly. I think just various retailers and distributors are in different places in their journey. But for OneRail, it's doing what we do globally. Global expansion is a big deal for us. We will look at inorganic options there as we look to expand into LATAM and Europe and Asia. We're looking at probably a funding round next year at this time. We're doing really well on our cash balance and almost profitable. So it put us in a position to do an acquisition right now when a lot of last mile companies are struggling. And I think you'll see a lot more of that as we get into next year and we get past that financing round. So a little bit of a glimpse into the future.
Great, great. So all I can say is wish you and OneRail all the best in your future, and look forward to being in touch and reading more about OneRail and its progress.
Thank you, Arish. I appreciate that, and thank you for having me today.
Thank you for your time, Bill, and enjoy the rest of the week and weekend.